Hello everybody and welcome to the first installation of Hector's highlights. I feel like so much gets lost, even though I consume so many types of media and see so many things that kind of are important to me. I forget a lot of things and I write everything down in my diary, in my journal, in my notes here on my laptop. But oftentimes it feels like a lot gets lost because there is a lot of content out there and books and movies and all that. And I feel like if I do little recaps at the end of a month or after a month ends, then it could be better for me to test myself and see what I discovered that month. I'm gonna divide this video into media as in movies and series or stuff I watched, then into literature, so what I'm reading right now, that could be articles, email, newsletters, stuff like that, or books, magazines, and then I have like a
Miscellaneous
category where I may talk about something that happened to me or something somebody said to me, or like a little story out of my life. So let's get right into it. We're gonna start off with literature, because usually that's where I'm most active. I read a lot and that's my favorite way of discovering new things and learning new things. So right now I'm reading Thus Spoke Zarathustra by Friedrich Nietzsche, who is one of the main heads, one of the main pioneers of nihilism. I'm reading it in German because he wrote it in German, and if something's originally in English or originally in German, I usually read it in that language and everything else just like with subtitles or translated. So I'm reading the German edition, Also sprach Zarathustra, and what I learned from that we have like a misconception about Nietzsche, because usually we say that he's like the lay down and die philosophy guy and like the emo, and everybody knows the story where he broke down seeing a horse die and he said, "Oh, nobody understands me like you do." Sympathizing with a dead animal and seeing yourself in that doesn't seem healthy at all. So I get why people see him as like kind of an edgy philosopher, but reading his works really showed me that he cared about self-love and that like overcoming yourself is very important. He isn't really as emo as I thought. He is very dramatic. Thus Spoke Zarathustra is written in a very dramatic kind of way, and it's about Zarathustra, who lives his life as a philosopher and how he goes through the world and how he acts as a messiah for others. And I'm still reading it because it's kind of annoying and tiring to read it, because he is so overdramatic and the language he uses is a little extreme, and I don't always find the motivation to read it. At the same time, I started reading Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller. That's a play. Some people had to read it in their English class or like literature class, but I didn't. And a friend of mine recommended it to me, so I read it, and it's only like 75 or 90 pages, something like that. So it's pretty fast. It's a pretty fast read. It's about the American dream. It's about family structures, baby boomer, after war generation, like male ego, the father not being able to really look his son into the eyes. It's about peaking in high school and never like going above that and having like a fragile ego. I enjoyed it. I could relate with it, with my personal experiences, and it's a quick read, and if you have the time, then I would recommend reading Death of a Salesman. And the last book I'm reading right now is Attached by Dr. Amir Levine and Rachel Heller, and that's a book about relationships and building and keeping up relationships. I have it right here. I got it for Christmas, didn't come around to read it until now. I have a way too long reading list. Yeah, some people might have heard of it. It's about different kinds of attachment types, so anxious, avoidant, insecure, but I didn't read it all the way through, just got the introduction, but until now I like the writing style. It's pretty fast-paced and understandable, and I think it tries to be a guide and like tries to be understandable. That's all for literature and stuff I read. I went to the theater twice and watched The Boy and the Heron twice. with 2 different friends. It's alright. It's not my favorite Ghibli movie. It's the new Ghibli animation movie. If you don't know about it, I guess I put the link in the description. Was like a 7.5 out of 10. I guess maybe we are too pampered with like everything by Ghibli being such an event and being just masterful and better than everything else, but it was kind of too meta for me, too many symbols. I didn't get any references, to be honest. But another nice side effect was that I'm re-watching all the Miyazaki Ghibli movies. I have them all on DVD and I'm re-watching them, which is nice. Until now I watched Totoro, My Neighbor Totoro, and I watched Spirited Away. And I must say, I watched Spirited Away like 6 times now, and it's still hella confusing. But it's okay, if you just see it through the eyes of like a child, I think it's okay, as long as it's entertaining. To me it feels like the Japanese version of Alice in Wonderland and like old Russian tales, my mom told me, or like my grandma told me. And that kind of has a charm to it, seeing that even though we are all scattered across the world, like kind of fiction connects humans in like stories. I'm watching Hunter x Hunter right now, or Hunter x Hunter, whatever you want to call it, the anime. Some people say it's like the best anime ever made. I don't know about that. Don't really know about that. I think it's kind of, I like coherent art direction, and Hunter x Hunter for me is like too scattered all over the place, and I don't like Gon, the main character. Yeah, it's like a mixture of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in the sense that there's like always a new combat system, and it's kind of like Akame ga Kill with like the different colors and the characters being very all over the place. And now going in a
Miscellaneous.
Last week I missed a video. I don't know if anybody noticed, but I always upload on Saturday at 12 German time, like Central European time. Basically Germany, and I fucked up. I didn't do it because first of all I was sick, then I didn't find a topic that was interesting enough, and because it's not like I didn't put in the work. I wrote like 4 scripts and they all sucked. I couldn't put them into anything that would be remotely giving anything to you. So it wouldn't be entertaining, or I wouldn't talk about anything that's, yeah, has like sense or meaning. And just to like crank a video out, just to crank it out, doesn't feel like it does justice to myself and to the people actually taking time to watch it. And then it's like kind of hollow, if that makes sense. If it's not well made or it doesn't have like any value. That was Hector's highlights for January 2024. Thank you for tuning in and see you in the next one.